Hey, Chris and Dimitri. So, yeah, I'm taking a look at the drop Star Mech here, and I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of feedback here. We're moving in a direction. It was cool to see some of the thinking. I think in general, the suits are too thin. This is maybe the exception because he's kind of, but he's a little bit more crouched and whatnot, so it's hard to say. But I think that it's way too thin. I want these things to feel like they're big exo suits that are kind of that are a little bit oversized, definitely over proportioned, and that's something I liked about kind of coming back to what I liked about finding this guy when I was iterating through, right? So a couple things that maybe just coming back to this first is I really like. I like that we have this weird nonsensical like head apparatus relay array thing. I like that it's chaotic. I think we're really kind of missing that with you guys. These designs are a little just too uniform at this point. I do kind of like some of the thinking here, but there's too much symmetry, and it's too homogenized into a little bit of chaos. I want big chaos in this case. Like part of the suit's form is about creating chaos when people look at this thing. It's hard to put together to some degree in their minds, and that's what makes them also extra menacing, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking there. The other side is it's not exactly the design, but I like these kind of like like just suspend our anatomy, suspend our thinking. This is just what I'm trying to get to, like feeling wise, right? So these kind of weird big like shoulder pad joints that are like some kind of new and interesting technology, almost like relay fields or displays. Even here, kind of coming back to this forearm, like he's got a tiny little hand, but the forearm's got this really weirdly blown out, like giant oversized proportion kind of thing going. And I like that. I really like that quite a bit. And then you kind of see it here in the chest too. The chest plating is big, and it's like, it's almost on the caricature side, right? Because when you have those bigger pieces, when we do have the more soft underside or inner side areas of the mechs, which are these like softer insides, it kind of suggests more mechanical or intricate machinery. And I like that compare and contrast. So let's try to push our designs more with those feelings in mind. Coming down to the feet side, again, they don't fully make sense, but there's this interesting, like, they're almost like weird spurs or interesting weird technology that sort of on the outskirts. I don't really like the shoe design, if you will, so much, but I do like that there's something suggested in here. And then again, coming into like, and these are just, weird shapes and leg things, right? So like this idea that we have this outer kind of shell, the shell doesn't completely pull together, but we have this inner shell, or this inner area that is a mixture of soft and hard shapes, but a little bit more flexibility. So, I do like some of the shape thinking here. I'm not a big fan of the jet feet in this case. I was hoping, Dimitri, when we were talking about it, that like, and this isn't exactly right? So, but if we talk about it like this, I was thinking so there was two things I was thinking you're thinking. So one was, let's just ignore the fact that I'm drawing on this guy, but one is that we have this big like giant, I don't know, like maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's something like this, like this kind of big, it kind of, I don't know, like exhaust or not exhaust, almost like a jet engine, almost like a giant jet engine turbine coming off the backside, right? And then we would have like that silhouette, or we'd have that shape. We'd have that shape that would kind of like carry it through. But also the other thing is I thought when you were talking about kind of these like these jet feet, I was thinking they would be more like jet feet, sort of like coming off the calf, if you will, something like like that a little bit more, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but let's explore that a little bit. So a couple other things that I liked. I kind of I like this kind of goggle sort of tech that you have on the side here. Again, I think our head shapes are a little too head-like, and one of the things I like about this is the idea that it's a little bit more chaos. So, but I think we could pull some of those elements together, be a little less just humanoid and a little bit more chaotic, right? Kind of like the sort of the front of the helmet design here a little bit more. Again, looking for more chaos. So let's go back to you know, the where we started with what I was imagining here. And then on the, you know, like out of the weaponry, I do like kind of like this chonkiness, the idea that maybe the arm is still a hand kind of gripping inside, but it's kind of more of a fully integrated piece. And then let's try a design where we have, you know, more like 8 barrels. I do like those a little bit longer. Again, these guys are shooting like it's like a scatter shot. So I think what we really need to do is we need to also then concept the weapon to get that to feel a bit better and a bit more sci-fi and out there. And then let's see. Yeah, so I mean, I was taking a look at these sort of like integrated, I don't know, gun arm things, and they're not quite doing it for me with this particular design. Same thing here with these. You know, I'm a big fan of like the interesting like posing and stuff. That's kind of cool. I do like kind of suggestion like I definitely like aspects. Actually, let me do that real quick. I definitely like aspects of that design. Looking at it a little bit more closely here. You know, in this space-ish. I just think we need to kind of combine some of this with some of this, and then do some iteration on it. Like because I think I think we can get there. I wasn't quite sure. I think I kind of get the hexagonal bits here. I like sort of the thinking of what's starting to happen. I kind of also like, it's hard to say because of the big gun kind of getting in the way, and the fact that we have this hunched over suit design. And then, you know, down here, I took and I was like, oh, let's blow up the. I kind of like sort of the shapes that are going on here. This is just us concepting, right? But yeah, going with that kind of oversized, bigger foot. Like I want to have the idea that these things are almost like taking a hammer and striking an anvil. Like these things are like pow. They often, like, while they do fly around, they also are meant to like ground pound, right? So it's almost like the first form of attack is when they are come out of the troop transports and they smashed into the ground. So yeah, I think that's it. So why don't we come back now that we've got some of the humanoid proportions, the thing we have the anatomy. It needs to be stylized. We need to push those proportions more. Think of it as the suit is how we push the proportions, and the inner part, the softer spots, are more of the anatomy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the next iteration on this. I'll get this up for you. So thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.